Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, August 1st. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Well, on Friday, I said I was going to try to get here and start the live stream early at 9:20, and I failed at that. My apologies for those of you that got here early expecting that. I will be trying to this week, though. I'll be trying to start these live streams a few minutes earlier at 9:20. So keep that in mind moving forward. Hopefully I'll be able to do it tomorrow. All right, so what are we looking at here in the market? Well, obviously we have a bullish move on Friday. We continued the momentum higher with value higher. We also had sort of a spike up at the end of the day. We didn't technically close inside the spike, but we're going to consider that a spike. I need to mark it actually. So base of the spike up. Because we are opening below that spike, that is the least bullish scenario. So, I'm looking at the market here. I could really make an argument for the market going up, down, or sideways today. The momentum is still to the upside, so that is bullish, and we would look for a continuation of that momentum. But opening below the spike is a sign that momentum might be over, and we might be looking to start balancing off this excess a little bit. Two ways to balance off the excess. One is we go sideways with price. We spend a day rotating. The other is we pull back with price, looking to repair some of the weakness we've left behind. Heading back towards the previous balance area high, and then we bounce from there. So if we are going to get balanced today, if the spike is sending us the signal we need to balance, either one of those two scenarios could take place. So that's why the market could go sideways or pull back. And then a continuation of the trend would take the market higher. We are in a previous balancing area. If we zoom out to the daily, you can see this was a balance area before, and we're back inside it now. So the higher odds are that we're going to head towards the opposite end of balance. But if we don't, that wouldn't be like a huge shock, as we could just be forming a new balance area in here that might not perfectly line up with the previous. So it's, like I said, don't have a clear bullish, bearish, or neutral signal today. It could kind of go anywhere. So we're opening inside the previous day's range. The first order of business is chop. We would expect the market to grind up and down. So potential resistance above is going to be around 411.16 in this area where the overnight traded. All that time and volume in there should act as resistance as we push up this morning. And then pretty much the area where we opened is the support, this area in here around the overnight low. So we'll be looking for the market to chop up and down inside this range. As far as where to look for a break of the chop, if we can get through this node up here, I would look to target the overnight high. And if we break the overnight low, I would look to target Friday's low. So in between, just looking for chop, looking for the market to grind around. But if we can break, say, 41.20, I would look to head up to 41.40. And if we break 4100, I would look to head back down to 40.80, and just monitor for continuation from there. We are officially in a chop zone. Chop zone, chopping it up. Overnight inventory is net short. Okay, so once again, we're looking for support literally right now above the overnight high. The overnight low. If that starts to break, we'll be looking to head lower, trying to repair the weak low we left behind on Friday. All right, and just like that, I'm bearish to head down and repair the weak low from yesterday. Not super confident of it because it's a balance area, and so they could find support in here and turn around and head back up. But that is the first target to the downside. So we are looking for resistance. All right, some of those overnight traders are taking profits. Do we get resistance here at the halfback or at the opening price? If not, the chop continues. If so, we're looking for further downside continuation. Scooball at the daily, the NQ looks more bullish for me. No, it looks the same. I guess it's a little more bullish than the ES, but it looks very similar. It's still in a chop zone, and its resistance is this same exact node from the overnight, 12,923. If it can get through there, you can head up to test the overnight high. But right now, it's chop suey. Okay, so that is resistance. I'm hesitant to get bearish. My instinct is to say that resistance should be enough to give me the signal we need to head back down and repair the weak low we left behind on Friday. But I feel like I'm going to have to see us get stuck below the overnight low before I'm fully convinced. Resistance here would be like step one for the sell-off down to yesterday's low. I'll wait for step two, the confirmation, when they get resistance at the overnight low. Because chop is notoriously difficult. Okay, looking for resistance here between like 41.16 and 41.19 for the chop to continue. If they're able to break through this resistance, then we can target testing the overnight high. If they can break through. Element says missed the long entry. Damn, I disagree. you don't want to get long in chop. They can reverse this market very, very quickly. You want to wait till confirmation that it's going somewhere. Then look for a long or a short. So on the short side, that's getting below the overnight low and finding resistance. On the long side, that's getting above this node and finding support. Until then, chopping it up, chopping it down, chopping it everywhere around. Oz, thank you for the sub. Welcome. Chilling with Dylan says we might get a couple news pops this morning. Bring it on. Pop it. Andrew should be a pub singer. Not if that pub wants return customers. KO, welcome. Thank you for the sub. If there's anyone else out there who has yet to push the like button, that little thumbs up button, or the subscribe button, little red subscribe button, I recommend you do it. Do it to it. It's a lot of fun. Can't explain why, but it'll just instantly make your life better. It's this weird thing that exists. Smash the like, life gets good. All right, more resistance up here, increasing the odds. We need to pull back down to the halfback, looking for support. They're not quite ready to poke through yet. Sable, another sub. Thank you. We're crushing it today, team. 3 new subs. Nothing's even happened. It's a chop day. Normally it takes like a gap and go call to get some new subs up in here. But not this morning. They're down for the chop. All right, so ticks finally working their way above the 0 line. Right as we're pushing into that resistance in price. So if they can break through here, they can turn that resistance into support for continuation. But they gotta break through before they do. Shoo-ba-da-beep-beep-boo. All right, so there we go. We're through the resistance. Now, does it become support? Does this area become support? If so, we target heading on up to test that overnight high. But I want to first see it become support before I turn the banner green. Sable, I'm new to the channel. Do you have videos that I can watch to learn the methods in the software? I don't. I have an e-course that covers everything, but you have to pay for that. And if you're brand new, I wouldn't suggest doing that. But just come, every day for like a week. I'm here for the first hour every morning for the first hour of trade from 9:30 to 10:30 New York time. So just come and watch and see if the things I talk about, connect with you. See if you find value in it. And if so, then consider taking the course. Essentially, what I do, for those of you that are new to the channel and have no clue what's going on, I trade what's called the two-way auction. So I'm not making predictions about what price will do ahead of time. I'm observing what it's doing in real time and then asking myself, what is the probability of what will come next based on what it is currently doing? So right now we're in a chop zone, right? The market is inside the previous day's range and we don't yet know what it's doing. So there's no trade. But if it pulls back down and it finds support, well, then I know it's trying to head back up to test that overnight high. And so that presents me with a trade. So what I look at here, this software that you see, this is called market profile software. This just takes the information, the same information you see in the candlesticks, and it just displays it in 3 dimensions. So I can see both how much time in terms of the number of letters running across and how much volume, in terms of the volume candlesticks, is trading at each price level. That gives me the insights to understand what the market is doing and how good of a job it's doing of it. Screwball, the NQ is at yesterday's high. I would say the NQ tested the old balance area from the upside. Yeah, I see what you mean. This balance area here broke out above it, tested, retested. I could see that. Yeah, NQ is bullish. Getting above yesterday's high is bullish. They also have value overlapping to higher, which is a sign of a continuation of the momentum to the upside. That is bullish. Yeah, I would say look for support around 13,000 and continuation to the upside if they get it. Melanie, I took the course this weekend. It's simple and easy to understand. Better yet, it's the cheapest and straight to the point course. Thank you. But honestly, that is exactly what I intended it to be. I wanted to make it affordable and useful. to where you can actually learn something and grow your skills. So I love it. All right. Yeah. One of those news bots is kicking in. That would be the manufacturing PMI. A little bit higher than expected. All right, well, that counts. It happened very, very quickly, but that counts as the pullback to test the support. So I am now bullish to test the overnight high. If we find support there, to test yesterday's high, and then monitor for continuation higher from there. We now have value overlapping to higher from yesterday. That is a sign of a continuation of the momentum, a continuation of the trend. Which is bullish. So obviously next things we want to see in order to keep the momentum going, internals wise, we want to see the breadth officially roll over above the zero line. Same thing with the advancers versus decliners. We want to see it continue to trend higher and get above that zero line. We also want to see the tick start to stay above the zero line and continue to trend. And interestingly, the NQ hasn't even got a tick to stay above yet. So this is the next thing to look for in terms of monitoring for continuation to the upside. So now can this first support at 41.27 hold? Or do we need a bigger pullback? Okay, that's a test of the overnight high. We also pulled the value area higher right up against the high of the day. That's a little bit bullish to see. Getting some short covering up here. So now we're looking for the market to pull back down around the base of that spike from yesterday, 41.34. Looking for support to head up and test yesterday's high. All right, looking for support here. Element pink candles in the spike. Hopefully that's support. It is for now. Keeping an eye on those ticks. They start to drift below the zero line, we know it's sellers. It's resistance. But as long as they can hold, it is support. Got bad taper on the high, increasing the odds. We need more two-sided trade up there as well. So you got value area, you got taper, and you got support. All right, we're testing this support around the base of the spike once again. Remember what I said earlier, for this market to truly keep going, to keep being bullish, we got to get the breadth above the zero line, the advancers versus decliners above the zero line, and keep these ticks trending higher and above the zero line. So it is less than bullish to see these ticks starting to pull back down below the zero. It's certainly not over the momentum, but it's a sign that we may not quite have the momentum we thought we had, and we may be looking at a rotational day inside Friday's range. If the market was super bullish and was looking to go higher today, they should have been able to bring in buyers up here for continuation. So that's just a little bit, not necessarily bearish, but less than bullish to see. But we'll look for support here around 27 and take another stab at that high. Johnny, what do you favor trading? A trend after a breakout or a rotational market? I favor neither. I have no favorites in this market. I will take whatever I'm given. I've talked about this at exhaustion in the past. I have trade setups for every possible market, with the exception of chop in the first hour when I don't know what it's going to do. Other than that, I've got, if it's trending, I've got trade setups for that. If it's rotational, I've got trade setups for that. I have no preference between the two. Where my preference lies is in my ability to recognize what's happening, right? Sometimes the market's easy to read, and I'm in the flow of the market. I can tell what it's doing. I feel confident, and those are the trades I love. And then there are times where it's really hard to read and it's confusing and I have uncertainty. Those are the trades I hate. But both cases can happen in trend or rotational markets. It's really just a matter of, am I in the flow of the market or not? That's what I like or dislike. Speaking of not being in the flow of the market, that lack of support gets me back to a neutral stance. That is not bullish. It increases the odds we may be looking at rotation inside yesterday's range. So pretty much as far as trade setups are concerned, right now at this moment, if we broke the overnight low again, I would go short for continuation to the downside, but I don't think that's likely. I assume we're going to find support in here or in here. I wouldn't be looking for rotational trades until we broke the initial balance, or if we spent like another hour or so inside the initial balance, I might start looking for them because it was a very large range. But outside of that, really the only trades are either getting back above the base of the spike and finding support where I could go long, or getting below the overnight low where I could go short. But in the meantime, while it chops up and down here in the middle, I'll be waiting for more information, as it's not worth the risk when you don't have the probabilities on your side. But Charles, isn't it bullish? The value is overlapping to higher. Yes, it is. It's bullish. The value is overlapping to higher. It's a sign that the momentum is still going. But if we had that momentum, we should have been able to bring buyers in up here. So methinks we might be going rotational. And I will sit on my hands until I'm sure, one way or another. Scooball says NQ is still a little bullish. Scooball, the only argument I would make, brother, is just look at those ticks. Right? All day long, they have not really had bullish ticks. They barely got above the zero line for like a minute, and then they were sucked right back down. So I would say on the NQ, you can stay bullish as long as you stay above the overnight high. But you start to pull back down into that overnight range, and you're looking at rotation. Another sign of rotation, one of those little telltale signals we get ahead of time, is if the price keeps passing through that 20 moving average over and over again. That is often a sign of a rotational market. So you could watch when the NQ comes back there. Does it find support? Well, then that would be bullish. Scooball says, he lost that bullish feeling. And Q took his bullish feeling. And Q took his bullish feeling. Now it's gone. 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 He can't buy support anymore. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Q actually looks a lot more bullish than the ES because it got above yesterday's range. So you could get bullish once again if it pushes above yesterday's high and then finds support up there. But in the meantime, expect some chop, some rotation. They didn't have the buyers the last time. They got to pull price down looking for them to bring them in for the next attempt. Mark asks, when and what time does the new 401k money enter the market at the month start? Like any regular times? Or is it random throughout the day? It's a great question. I don't know. I would assume it's every Monday morning, right at market open. You know, anyone who got paid on Friday and has those, allocations to their 401k, it would automatically go in on Monday. But 401k allocations are a tiny, tiny drop in the bucket compared to the liquidity that moves through the market on a day-to-day basis. So I don't even think you'd see it at all in price action. Maybe go back and check. Maybe Mondays have a higher probability of being bullish or whatever, but I have a feeling that liquidity just gets absorbed with all the day trading. All right, so with the printing of the C period, I must say goodbye. Au revoir. Wish you all the best for the rest of the day, because it's time for me to go hang out with the coolest kids in the crowd, the members of the brigade. As far as where to leave you today moving forward, what I said before is exactly how I feel. We're looking at rotation here. We're inside the previous day's range after a bunch of excess to the upside. So the idea, we opened below the spike up. So the idea of needing a day to balance off some of this excess would make sense, in which case I would expect a rotational day where we just kind of go sideways all day. And when we break the initial balance, if we break it to the upside, so if we get above the B period high, I would look for continuation there. Can we break out? And same thing with that A period low, or you could really treat it like the overnight low, 4,100. If you can get below there, get some resistance, you can start to short it for a new trend to the downside. But in the middle here, between, the overnight low and the base of the spike from yesterday, you're just going to get rotation. So it will be tricky to trade, to say the least. With that, I bid you all farewell and wish you the best. We'll see you here tomorrow morning. If you're in the brigade, let's ride. Oh, yeah, we didn't even break 100 likes. Come on, push that like button before you leave. Appreciate you.